What's up, guys? This is video number 2 in the Analyzing Film series Unscripted. Today is going to be pretty simple. I'm just going to be focusing on the lighting in a scene and how changing that can change the final product. Lighting applies to both mood and characterization. Today we're going to be mainly focusing on characterization, which is how you can change the light around a character to convey what's going on inside of the character's head. Lighting applies both to the environment and to lighting that sort of falls over the character, and also for more personal lighting that sort of comes from the character, which sounds pretty weird, but there is a specific example we're going to be looking at later on that more explains it. So with film, you can really manipulate the shadows and the darkness that's around a character as well as the actual light that's there. And with darkness and with shadow, it's an extremely common motif and symbol that's used in literature and used in stories, and it really helps in film. It can also serve as transition for characters during their thought processes, which is really going to be shown in the example that we're going to be looking at, which is from the movie version of the musical Les Mis. And it's going to be from the character Javert's final number, which is called Javert's Suicide. As a sum up, if you haven't seen the musical or the movie, Javert is a character that throughout the entire story has a very set way of life and a very set way of thinking. And he's never really experienced doubt before, except during this one time during the end when he does experience doubt and it's sort of too much for him to take. So we're going to be looking at two pictures on the next slide, which are going to be directly from his performance during this movie. So during his performance of this song, there are sort of two parts to the song. The first part is going to be when he's sort of starting to feel the doubt, but sort of denying it, and he's sort of still in the light, like shown in this first picture. And then the second part of the song is going to be when he actually accepts that he might be wrong and that it's too much for him to take. So this scene that we have shown right here, this first picture is from just seconds before the second one, and it's when he's sort of still in the light and he's sort of still denying that he might be wrong, and he's sort of still okay with everything. Now during the second picture, this is when the actual shadow falls over his face, and it serves as a transition in his thought process like we talked about earlier. And you can sort of see with this passing shadow how everything changes inside of his head, and it's a sort of literal way to show the audience that everything is changing for him. And this scene right here where the shadow passes over him serves as a transition from the first part of the song where he's sort of okay and he's sort of willing to sort of force his way through life and get rid of this doubt, and then the second part of the song where he does know that he is wrong in this part and that this is going to change his life. And you can tell by the title of the song that it really does change his life. Okay, so eye light is another small thing that I want to touch on with lighting. You know the tiny bit of light that shows in your eye even during dim lighting, and that's an extremely natural thing, and you sort of have to try and capture that when you are filming to make it seem more natural and seem more real. So this eye light is sort of like a subconscious flag that lets you know that a person or character is still alive and that they're still there. So in a dark scene, you can sort of manipulate this, I guess, where you can show it still there and show that even when the character is being hit by horrible event after horrible event, they are still alive and they are still there and are still willing to fight. On the other hand, the removal of that light, which is sort of not really done often, but it can be done to serve a certain purpose, when you remove that light, you achieve an opposite effect, and it sort of goes for creation of a dull and dead feeling in a character. This is extremely significant because there is this one small light that's in their eye, and just taking that away can change complete meaning of what's going on. And you can do that on purpose, and it is an interesting way to sort of convey that. So we're going to be sticking with the example of Javert from the musical Les Mis, and you can see this first one is a picture of the eye light. You can sort of see it right here, the white that's in his eyes. And that's from the song Stars in Les Mis, which is much earlier on in the musical, and this is when his character is still in that set way of life and he's still confident in himself. And then you can see the second picture where there's no eye light in his eyes. You can't really see a shine there at all, and that's again during Javert's Suicide, his final number. And what they do in that song, which is interesting in Javert's Suicide, is they sort of play with the eye light, where the actor's eyes are moving up and down, so you sort of get the eye light at some points and don't get it at other points. which sort of is a way to play with the actual confusion that's going on inside the character's head. Because sometimes you see the light that's in their eyes and sometimes you don't. So sometimes he feels right and sometimes he doesn't. And you get that through that manipulation of the light. So that's the video for today. Like I told you, it's pretty simple. I'm going to put some links down in the description below. One to a further discussion about lighting in a more practical way and in a more symbolic sort of way. And the other is going to be of the song Javert Suicide that we looked at in this video, so that you can sort of look at it and you can sort of make your own conclusions. So be sure to watch next Monday's video, which is going to be talking about camera movements, and it's going to be a little longer than this one. Leave comments below and maybe click the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.